1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and hello fellows, Herogon here. Today is Thursday, August 31st of 2023, and so far this past week it's been mostly uneventful. But today is one of my sister's birthdays, so that's one of the few eventful things you could say. Now, in case any of you guys don't know, I actually have at least 5 other siblings in my family, so yeah, I definitely have a very, very big family of siblings with my house. With me living with my mom and sometimes going in my dad's RV, but I don't want to go into the full specifics of that because that's probably not what everyone comes here for these Funlog / showcases for. They come here for, anyways, moving to the meat of the video, for this Funlog Friday / showcase Saturday, we have ourselves an online session list. Now with this particular part, Shawnthebro has gone over displaying online matches found while searching, retrieving the session ID of suitable sessions, and creating the session list menu. Now, having session IDs are pretty important. Now, what you can see here with Sean's own thing, after he's decided to try to join a match, and as you can see, if there happens to be any sort of sessions around, then this particular box will pop up. And it contains a whole number of these little weird line of text here with a whole lot of numbers and letters. Feels a bit randomized, for sure. But I think that's the point with regards to online. To be honest with anyone that's watching, I have not gotten much of a chance to do the big online stuff. Heck, even when playing something like Fortnite, I don't know if I'm taking full advantage of the online stuff. So going into the coding part, there's a whole lot of stuff here and there. In the base gameplay instance, we have ourselves our typical stuff, and in base game instance.cpp we have a new part, but before checking that, we have a new function to check out for the game mode header file. Now with this, we have a new U function, which is blueprint implementable event, called display session info, which has a constant of f-string and underscore session ID, which is the variable stuff here. Now with regards to .cpp itself, we don't need to have anything for the display session info because, again, this is a blueprint implementable event. Meaning that whatever logic we are going to do will be in Unreal Engine's own blueprints. Before going there, however, we've got base game instance.h, which has remained unchanged for the most part, but the next part is the search for sessions completed function. We have ourselves a new little spot here, which is if auto game mode equals cast to project fight stars game mode, get authenticated game mode, and for int I equals 0, I is less than the search sayings search results.num increment I. With this, we will get our session info to display, and that is pretty much what I've got for the code part. And with most of the work going towards the blueprint side of things. First up, we have a new sessions UI with a vertical box here meant to contain something called session list element. This will have session name and a background for it. Going into the graph itself, there's just nothing but this one variable called session name. Going into session list itself, we also have a few things here and there, but first is the design of sorts. It's pretty default. I'd say that's meh in whatever case. Whatever you want to think of this, you can feel free to tell me in the comments, I guess. I'll try my best to accept whatever constructive criticism there is and whatever positive discussion there might be. Now, with regards to the design, we've got the typical old image background, the text showing what exactly this part is, that being the sessions area, and of course a back button, just in case you want to go back to the main menu or wherever. With regards to the logic itself, we have the event construct where we cast a default game mode and set our session list reference. On-pressed back button, of course, also has a bit of this too, with the session list reference not being set back to none, whereas the construct has getting a reference to itself. And with the on-pressed, boy, I'm jumping around a bit here. You've also got the old remove from parent part. Another part to this is the function, add session to list. This essentially adds the sessions vertical box to child to the sessions VB thing to the child as a child to the vertical box. So yeah, that's a bit of that stuff here and there. Now going into the default game mode.bp itself, we have this new function called event display session info, where we get our session ID, insert into the create session list element widget, and of course another thing to note, I have the session name variable exposed on spawn. So that is pretty useful. Then we get our session list reference and see if it's valid. If so, we add the session to the list. With our sessions to add content being a variable of session list element, which is added to the vertical box sessions VB. And that is gonna wrap things up with regards to the blueprint. As much as I'd like to show it to you myself, I'm afraid it would take a very, very, very long time. But of course, it does indeed work, so yeah. And as you know, if one wants to have all of this online stuff seen working, then I'd have to use standalone game, which plays this level in a new window that runs its own process, and I set the number of players for multiplayer options to 2. So yeah. Now, the results seen in Sean's video are pretty much similar to mine, although with regards to location, I of course have it a bit differently. As you can see with my project, I of course have myself, a special area for online that takes place in its own spot, known as Byte. So yeah, I have a bit of a weird organization thing with all of this. But of course it's decent enough, so yeah. And with all that is gonna wrap most stuff up. Credit again goes to Shawnthebro for all of his tutorials. They've been pretty amazing. So thank you again for sticking around this long. With all that, I've been Herogon, you've been you. Thank you for tuning in for this Funlog Friday / Showcase Saturday. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Goodbye everyone, and thanks for tuning in.